Hello everyone, welcome to today's Take a Peek episode. Today we are taking a peek at the last Federation, and specifically all the DLC that's included in that. As you'll see up here, this is a sponsored video. Arxon Games was kind enough to give me a free copy of this, so I figured I should be kind enough to go ahead and make a quick video about him. So, this game, the Last Federation, is a strategy space simulation game. Now you can see right now everything looks to be paused, and it is kind of. It's odd the way that this all plays out, because it's a turn-based game, but it's also a real-time game, and I'll see if I can go ahead and show that here. Go ahead and go to Fergus, and we're just gonna go ahead and actually not here. Well, actually, no, this is fine. We'll go ahead and go to Friendly Intervention. This will be good. So we'll go to Fergus, we'll go to Friendly Intervention. So you go into a planet. So every single race has its own planet here. And the world, or the universe, galaxy, plays itself out. The game world plays itself out all by itself. So the AI is largely dictating what happens in this game. And then you are the remnants of the old Hydras civilization that their homeworld was destroyed. So what you're going to be doing is you're the last of your species, and you have all these great technologies and this great ship, and you're going around and you're just kind of dictating what happens in the galaxy, kind of determining which civilizations do well, and the civilizations that you help tend to end up doing much, much better than the civilizations you don't. So, for example, the Burlist homeworld right here, if you look at the bottom left, that little text box, the Burlists live here, and you notice they have Orvar, but they also have Kleisha. And this used to be the homeworld of the Andors. Now, the Burlists I helped for a little while. Obviously, they don't like me much right now, but I helped them for a little while, and that helped them actually get Andors. They went out, they conquered Andors, and all was well. And one of the ways you can do that, we'll go and jump back into Fergus here for the Skylaxians, is to go in and you can do a joint mission to destroy pirate bases, gets you money, and just generally makes people happy about you. And you can also do stuff like destroy spy probes, which other races will put on other planets to determine technology. Or you can go to straight up hostile acts, and you can start to actually do damage to a planet as well, hurt people, make them not like you as much. And if you really want to, there's other various things you can do, such as building all these little outposts. So, like 3 different types of outposts, they all give different benefits. But the most powerful one, in my opinion, are the science outposts. Those are the ones that really are very, very important. So let's go and jump into Destroy Spy Probes, show you guys a little bit of how this game works. So destroy all spy probes, and it looks like there's 2 remaining, 2 whole spy probes around this planet. This is where it's turn-based, but it's also real-time. So right now, nothing's happening. And this is one of the spy probes that we need to destroy. The little red circle that you can see there, that is the radius that it can start attacking. But of course, because distance and physics are a thing, it's not instant damage. They still have to shoot you. And I'll go ahead and show how that works out. We're going to go ahead and put all the power to the engines here, as much as we can. And you can see that dramatically increases our little move indicator. So we're going to go this way. And then you have 3 different weapons you can choose from. Spread Shot, Mass Driver, and Energy Blaster. These tend to change based on which race you end up starting the game with. They all have their different ranges and different specialties. You can also just have it automatically pick targets. Fire at a specific ship if you want that ship to really die. Fire at a specific point, because that's always useful. Or just hold fire if you don't want to shoot at all. So, we're just going to go ahead and go this way. So you see, those are the shots that are coming out of the spy probe. And the spy probes are a little odd, but they're the perfect example of how weapon systems work in this game. We're going to go to here. Okay, so now we want to take all weapon to the, or all energy to the weapons, because we want to make sure that we can do plenty of damage. There are, of course, complicated maneuvers, so say I want to do that, then I can. We have the mass driver selected, go ahead and hover over the spy probe, and it'll tell you, bottom left, it will tell you what the most powerful weapons that you can use against these are. This has a lot of extra bonus text, which is not typical, but you can see the very, very bottom, your DPS against this, very bottom, right down in here, your DPS against this. The best one is a spread shot and then mass driver, but the spread shot is a shotgun, so it's not necessarily going to be the most effective. Let's go ahead and fire at specifically the spy probe. We don't need to, the auto fire will take care of it, but we'll just go to show this feature. Whoa, that was close. So those are going to be coming back. Okay. That spy probe made a break for it, man. Holy cow. Okay, drop the shields, add more engine power, and we'll just go ahead and auto fire. Whoa! Oh man, that did hit. That did hit. So if I hover over my ship, same stats, bottom left, you can see how many shields I have and the hull I have, and wow, that hurts. Those attacks did a lot of damage. I gotta be careful about these spy probes. Oh buddy, try not to get hit. Oh buddy, okay, we got him. Okay, spy probe down. So that's one. There's one remaining. Not quite sure. Oh, but there it is. It's way down here in the bottom. All right. Full power to the engines. Go, go, go. Go, go, go. They're usually not quite this far away, but in this case they are. All right, so we made it this far. Go ahead and kill the engines, power up the shields and the weapons. So you notice our shields actually, we'll give a whole bunch of power to the shields right now, because our shields are really kind of lacking. You're running away, I don't appreciate that. Okay, so our little shield health bar is filled up. So back to weapons. No, we'll keep shields. Okay. Let's see if we can maybe get a shot in here. This is Evux. Once again, I'll go ahead and fire specifically at you. Okay, move out of the way. We got him. Okay, so that's how combat works. Now, it gets much more intense for much longer, more complicated, deadlier battles as you get into these really big conflicts. But at the end of every mission, every contract as it's called, there are a set number of things that happen. So in this case, the Skylaxians like us more because we destroyed spy probes that were around their planet. Evux hate us because they were the Evux spy probes. And took 17 turns total. How much damage we took, how many ships were involved, how much money we got for destroying the enemy ships, and then turns taken directly translates to how much real time, relative time in solar months, what happens in the game. So we go ahead and close this, and go ahead and go to, whoops, I just went to planet details. Planet details are really cool, actually. We'll show these off real quick. You can actually see all the different details about a planet and all the different things that are on the planet, about the planet, modifiers, math, percentages. It's all really, really cool. All the different stuff that's actually goes into all these planet details. Also, event logs and all that stuff. It's really awesome. With each individual planet, there are different RCI factors, I believe is what they're called. They're different RCI factors. So in this case, we have economic state, and this is on a scale of like up to 2,000, I think. So it's really not, you know, massive. But economic state, medical state, environmental state, and public order. And all of these determine the overall health of the planet, as well as the overall health of the civilization. So you go over to Orvar, and And there's a lot of negatives, but it's really on the cusp. You know, these are small negatives with the exception of the environmental, which is nightmarish. Everything else is like, yeah, okay, it's bad, but it's not terrible. And then you jump over to, like, Kleisha with negative 247 economic. Like I said, it's complete chaos. It's terrible. So, you can get everyone up. If you try really, really hard, you can probably keep everyone up and try and make everybody happy. But ultimately, you're going to have to pick and choose who survives. Now, there are achievements for keeping everybody alive, but it's really difficult because you'd have to manage to get everybody to be at peace with each other. And people like the Burlusts are warmongers, whereas the Skylaxians are peaceful. They're borderline pacifist. So, that's not to say they won't help, though. So right now, there's also other things on the map I've not looked at. So, these really big ships are trade fleets. You can see they're coming to and from different planets, from different races. They're just different trade routes that have been set up. Most of them are with the Skylaxians, but not all of them. And then if we go ahead and look to the far right, over at Ing, the Thoraxian homeworld, you see a lot of arrows all over the place. Now, each of those arrows are different ships. So you can see right now, there's a massive, massive battle going on over the Thoraxian homeworld. And that's actually shown in this little bit right here. So there's the Burlos Pirate Armada, Skylaxian Armadas, that are just doing battle over here. Now, of course, the Skylaxians are going to just completely wreck face. But the Thoraxians have been under attack for quite a while. So if we go ahead and click on Ing, you'll watch everything move. So everything barely moved, so a little bit of time passed. Solar date down here. And these guys are all just fighting it out. So if we go to Friendly Acts, we can do Lone Defense. So hold off an overwhelming attack, which the Thoraxians would like, but we'd be fighting the Evox, we'd be fighting the Skylaxians. The Burlus would appreciate that, fighting the enemy of the enemy, and same with the Thoraxians. The Skylaxians would not like that at all, because of course we're opposing them. We're not going to do that. We can also just help defend against invader armadas. Conversely, we can go to Hostile Acts and attack local armadas on our own, or help the invader armies as well. So we'll go ahead and do this one. This should be really quick against the Thoraxians. Go ahead and take an action here. So now you're starting to see different ships. There's a Skylaxian ship. This is also a Skylaxian ship. They're flagships. Flagships are what you want to keep alive as an ally and destroy for enemies. We zoom out, we kind of see the bigger picture here. There are Burlus over here, which are neutrals that are also involved in this. More Skylaxians, lots of Skylaxians. There should be some Evox in here somewhere. There's Thoraxians in the center that we're here to kill. Let's see. We have Thoraxians, Skylaxians, and Burlus. So there are no Evox. But you can see that there are Burlus here and Skylaxians here along with Thoraxians. So there's also, when you're attacking a planet or a base of some sort, there are base defenses. So in this case, gravity lance turrets. They could also be laser turrets. Artillery turrets are probably the most terrifying out of all of them. You have to break these down as well. You'll also notice now there are a little bit of bonus things up here. These are all bonus little abilities that your ship has in combat. And you can switch these out and do lots of fun stuff with them. So, let's go ahead and do Operation Kamichi. So, we just fired out a whole bunch of these little green ships. And then we will triple range. Now, every time you use one of these abilities, it destroys all shots that are nearby. And it also eats you up your entire turn. So you cannot move and use your abilities at the same time. Notice that we are out of Operation Kamichi. In a few turns, a new ability will take that place because we have several stockpiled. So let's go ahead and fire the Giga Cannon here. It's nothing that's too spectacular, but it does so much damage. So we'll go ahead and fire this. Now watch, it'll come out of this side. So there it goes. And it'll go through anything and everything it hits. So it just hit the Predator. We can go ahead and fire again. Destroyed the Predator in one shot. And we'll just keep firing. Fire the Giga Cannon as much as we can. If you time it right, it doesn't even really look like a turn-based game. So notice now these little things popped out. So these are little skate pods. We can get out here, we can try and save these skate pods. So go ahead and do that. Zoom out here, and we got a whole bunch of Thoraxians. So we rescued the pilots, which means the Thoraxians will appreciate that. However, we can give them back for free, or we can sell them into slavery, or sell them back as prisoners of war. So getting these guys are a great source of income. Okay, so the battle just ended there before we could grab these guys. The Skylaxians just completely wrecked the Thoraxians there. We really didn't need to help. But we did. We got a few people, and it worked out quite nicely. So this is it's still a small battle, but this is a much bigger scale than just destroying some space probes, and it gets very chaotic. Damage is only done when you encounter these specific objects, so you can maneuver your ship in such a way that you don't get hit. And part of that is what makes a really good pilot and makes this game difficult yet fun, is being able to dodge all of these shots. It's like a bullet hell in some cases, which is, it can be a lot of fun at times. I'm not a fan of bullet hells, but I think that the last Federation actually did a very good job of making that interesting. So again, contract complete. So Thoraxians lose some base power and some effective power, and they lost 2 full armadas. Now, I don't know how many armadas they have right now, but 2 is, from what I've seen, a not insubstantial amount of ships to lose. To show how many abilities we used, how much damage we took, which was 0. So there were 83 total hostile ships, 123 allied ships, and we destroyed 20 of them. Just straight up, we destroyed 20 of them, and allied forces destroyed 53. Whereas 40 of ours were destroyed. So we had 21 ships for what we killed. It again took only 9 seconds. And different influences have changed. So one last thing, you can go ahead and pop over to your own bases. So you can make your own bases. You can either do it in conjunction, like over here at Skylaxians. A lot of these bases that are out here that are owned by Skylaxians, I helped them build. I helped fund them, and then I helped turn it into something. And part of that you can do, actually you can make bases, you can do research together, all sorts of fun little things. You can also attack bases made by other people. So the Thoraxians made this science base. I stole it from them, so now it's mine. So I can go to Friendly Acts, and then I can sit here and just sit and do research. There's tons and tons of research to do. Let's go and watch what happens. So we're just going to do Relic Armor, because why not? So it says it'll take 10 months. We take the action and watch what happens. So now the whole galaxy is playing out on its own. You can see the battle happening over Thoraxian homeworld. You can see pirates are attacking the trade fleet over here. There are defense armadas around Clycia trying to keep public order. And just in general, other things happening. So, new hydro signals been detected. Different events will happen as time passes by. So if we jump out to our destroyed homeworld, we can search for advanced technology, hydro technology. And then we also know there's an attack on Ing, the Thoraxian place, by the Skylaxians. We already knew that. We were already there. But they're sending this new armada that looks like it, yep, it just arrived. So that little arrow, basically. And then here's a pirate armada coming out here looking for trade fleets. And also going into Ing to just get into that madness. Now, the pirates really are kind of outmatched, but they do like to keep attacking, because why not? And of course, every game has a black market. Now, you don't have to sit here and watch this. There's a fast forward, there's a ×2 button, and of course the cancel button. But every good game has to have a black market. This has a black market. You can buy mercenaries, and you can buy goons, which do various things. So we have space defense goons over here at our outpost. You can also get construction goons to build outposts more quickly, and science goons to do research more quickly. Now, obviously, there's a lot of buttons down here we haven't even looked at, and there's a lot of really interesting things you can look at. Planet health graphs, for example, show you, what happened to all these planets. So specifically, Leto just fell off the edge with economic, but everything else is okay. Whereas if we go to like the Skylaxian homeworld of Fergus, you can see they had some hardship, but due to my intervention, they have since recovered and are very prosperous. Scytia just, again, fell off the edge. It was a conquered world, and it has just completely fallen off because it's been conquered. There's all sorts of interesting and fun little graphs to look at. Population graphs, armada graphs, like overall strength. Skylaxians, far and above, are the strongest. They are the only ones I have been helping. And it really shows what effect you can have on the game. Now, it doesn't, as you're playing it, it doesn't necessarily feel like you have an effect if you're helping the pacifist races. If you're helping the aggressive races, then it becomes more interesting. But the Skylaxians are just super powerful because they're the only ones I've really helped. So there's all sorts of different things to look at as well. There's the end game in this is the Federation. The Federation, right now, this is a mid-game scenario. Oh, looks like there's a battle happening over Kleisha. This is a mid-game scenario. So I just made the Federation, and now we're looking towards getting into the late game. So we jump into the Federation. So right now, the ones that are in the Federation, the Peltians and the Skylaxians, they're in the Federation together. They're actually neighbors. But in order to get everyone else in the Federation, you have to get them to like you and to like each other. So they don't have to like you a whole lot. They just have to like you enough to trust you. So, for example, the Evox, if we got another 23 influence, they might join the Federation because they're medically desperate. They really, really need medical assistance. So if we made them like us 23 more, which would just be a couple missions, then they would be more likely to join the Federation. Alternatively, you can take the Federation and just wipe everybody else out, and the Federation is only those two planets, those two civilizations. That's the word. There are only two civilizations, and just kill everybody else if you wish. You can dictate how this goes as much as you want. So the Federation really is the end game, and that's where the game really starts to get interesting. You start getting into diplomacy, you start getting into just generally interesting gameplay, where you're still super powerful, but there's a lot of things out there that can kill you. In game setup, you can actually choose permadeath, which is a really nice feature, because I've actually died in games that don't have permadeath, and you hit 0 HP, and then you just warp out, and all that happens is you lose the mission, which is fine. But the permadeath feature is actually huge. The permadeath, for me, as a person who likes roguelikes, is a pretty key feature. You know, if it's a game that you die in, but you don't take any real penalties for it, that's not super great. Whereas, in this case, it's a game that you do get penalties for. And that's nice. It's nice when the game actually acknowledges that. Not all games do. So we have relic armor. Great. Go ahead and jump back over to friendly axe. Just go ahead and start another one while we're waiting here. A couple other things to look at. So there's the computer advisor. Yes, I'm aware. So this tells you kind of the different things that you could really care about. So top 3 suggested allies, top 3 powers outside the Federation. Just, you know, they are different things to think about, different things to look at. the technology to focus on, of course, what you should research next and what not. So no races are ahead of us right now. And that's actually seen in the tech progress. So this is the entire tech tree right here. Now this I'm not a fan of. It's just a giant graph. Not even a graph. It's like a list. And I find this to be very difficult. This is one of the only complaints I have about the game, is the tech tree is just, it's bulky and seemingly unusable. It's very odd. But it shows all of the lost Hydra research. On this one we have, it would appear to be 2. You can also give away Hydra research to other races, so it no longer becomes lost Hydra research, it's just research. And you can see who has what. So in this case, the Thoraxians have longer tarsal claws, stronger mandibles, and thicker carapaces that we just don't have. They're Thoraxian evolutions. They're specific for that race. But same with Skylaxian. Skylaxian mortality. You have the Peltian community, and then you get out from the race-specific to just generic ground military or orbital bombs. The race-specific kind of shows how far along that race is in its own personal technology, and then the other technologies just kind of show where that specific race is and how that all plays out with the tech that they have. So each of these techs gives different benefits. So in this case, nanotubes. Ground combat soldiers and civilians gain a plus 1.1 addition to their effectiveness multiplier. Doesn't sound like a lot, but if you have that and someone else doesn't, obviously you're going to be in a better situation. And all these different things are why the Skylaxians are so powerful, because if you look at the Skylaxians here, they have a lot of the same stuff that we have because we've done a lot of research with them over the course of the game. Some of this will boost them specifically, the AI specifically. Some of it boosts both, and some of it will only boost you. The ones in particular that really only boost you are the Lost Hydral techs. But the ones that boost both, pretty much anything for space battles, but a lot of the tech only boosts the AI. That what you're doing is you are manipulating the AI and you're making them act in the way that you want to act. And in that way, this game is very hands-off for me personally, and I can't honestly say that I'm totally appreciative of that. As you guys know, I love playing games like XCOM. I love playing games like StarCraft that are very hands-on, where the player directly controls what happens in the game. Like literally directly controls. In The Last Federation, it's very much so an indirect control and is more for the backseat strategy gamer, I would say, because you're not the one that is telling the Skylaxians to go attack the Thoraxians most of the time. You're not the one that's doing that. In this case, they did it all their own. And that's fine. I enjoy watching that, and I think that's really cool. But it's... for me, it's just not something that I particularly enjoy. That being said, I have very few complaints about the game. Like I said, the tech tree is the biggest complaint. It's just... it's ugly and hard to use, especially compared to tech trees in other games, but the gameplay itself, I don't have a complaint with. The combat, the ship combat, is great. I think it's fun. I think it is fun. The diplomacy feels a little shallow at times, and also a little arbitrary. I can't quite figure out what everything does. Now, it tries to explain it all as much as possible, but not everything always seems to make sense as to why this person cares about what I do on someone else's planet necessarily, regardless of whether they're friends or enemies, or if I help one of their allies and all of a sudden they don't like me as much. Some of this stuff does seem very arbitrary, and maybe that's race specific. That I don't know for certain. But the diplomacy feels a little shallow, but it's still fun to sit back and watch the galaxy do its own thing. and the tech tree is just annoying, but you're not going to be using the tech tree that often. It's something to just kind of check on and be like, oh, I don't know, does anyone have technology that I don't have? I don't think so. Okay. So, oh, the Peltians have fire bombs, and I don't have fire bombs, so maybe I should go talk to the Peltians or something. Or the Skylaxians have ground shock and high-altitude area explosives, you know? Something to just go sit back and be like, oh, they have this technology. But it's not... You're not going to be using it very often. At least not in my experience. So, overall, I would have to say this game is... It's not for me. It's a solid game. Actually, I think I wrote this little bit down. Yeah. So, it's a solid game. The tutorial is great. It introduces things in a very manageable fashion. The difficulty scales well, so as you get stronger, the other aliens will get stronger at the same time, and that balances out very nicely. But, like I said before, guys, this is a game that's best suited for players who like a hands-off approach to strategy games. Backseat strategy gamer really, I think, would enjoy this more than someone who really likes to get into the games like Europa Universalis or the StarCrafts, or Civilization, for that matter. Civilization is still hands-on while watching everything else happen around. This feels very detached, and it feels like the player is just some sort of god when it comes to combat, where it's just like, why should I even care? I don't know why I should care about any of these races, because I don't care. I'm not given a reason to care. The intro story is interesting, and it does kind of give you a reason to care about that one race. So in this case, I started with the Evox in this one, and it gives me a reason to both like and hate the Evox at the same time. But why do I care about the Skylaxians? Why do I care about the Burles? I mean, I don't. I don't have a reason to. And I think that's what's really stopping me from enjoying this game overall, is I just don't have a reason to get sucked into the game. And maybe that's me personally. Maybe that's a flaw in the game. That's hard to say at this point. Because I don't necessarily get sucked into other strategy games as well. That being said, guys, like I said, it's a good game, but ultimately it's just not appealing to me personally. That being said, the Lost Technologies was just released as a DLC for the Last Federation, and the whole thing, the whole bundle, it was created as well. So Last Federation bundle was created, and it's all available on Steam, GOG, and Humble if you guys want to check it out. The new DLC is out for $6.99, and of course, as we're going into the Steam Winter Sale, the Humble Bundle Sale, the GOG Winter Sale, all these winter sales, keep your eye out for any sort of price decreases. I was not told about any price decreases, but it's the gaming industry. I mean, anyone who's been around long enough knows that there will be some sort of decrease in price come around this time of the year. Be it 10%, 50%, who knows. One last thing I forgot to mention. As time goes on, occasionally you'll get quests that will pop here up in the top. You can hold up to 2 at the same time. And they're just little missions to go out and do specific things. So they'll ask you to come aid in a ground invasion, and they need some support from space if you'll come do that. Or they need you to help destroy spy probes, or to protect their planet, or whatever. Sometimes they'll give out specific quests, these different races will, and that's a fun little thing to do. I kind of wish there were more to give more guidance sometimes, but at the same time, I like being able to kind of go about and do whatever I want. So it's a fun little aspect of the game that I don't think has been really fleshed out well enough. Overall, as with every Take a Peek, the rating I will give it is a 7.5 out of 10. It's a solid game that has the potential to be a fun game, but it's just not a game for me. It's not a game that I personally enjoy. So if you like what you saw here, if you think this looks fun, go check it out. It's, I believe, $24.99 for the whole collection on Steam, GOG, and the Humble Store. So go check it out, guys. It's definitely worth looking at if you think if it looks fun. And that's what I say about every Take a Peek game. If you like what you see in the Take a Peek, go actually check it out, because it could be a lot more fun than what it looks like. So that'll be it for this Take a Peek episode, guys. As always, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time with the next Take a Peek. This has been The Last Federation from Arkan Games, or Arksing Games. They didn't actually tell me how to pronounce it. Arkan Games. Thanks for watching. DFTBA.